Well, welcome to Lesson 8, Part 2. And in the first part of the lesson, we had a look at verbal stems. And in Part 2, we'll have a look at weak verbs. Now, the topic of verb stems and weak verbs covered in this lesson often fill over half of any Hebrew textbook. In order to begin reading the Hebrew Bible, you should know what these things are, but you don't need to get bogged down in all the details. Just be able to recognize them. So the suggested exercises for Lesson 8 Part 2 in Biblical Hebrew and Introductory Grammar by Paige H. Kelly, we have Lesson 14 and Lesson 16. Then if you want to get into all the details, do all lessons from 17 to 21. And in Basics of Biblical Hebrew Grammar by Gary D. Practico and Miles V. Van Pelt, Section 3, Introduction to Hebrew Verbs and the Qal Stem, 14a and b, the Qal Perfect, weak verbs. Then the rest of the section if you need practice, and Section 4, Intro to Derived Stems. So there's a lot in this lesson about weak verbs, and again, grammar texts go into all the nuts and bolts and all the details of this, but you don't need to get too hung up on it, and I'm just giving the briefest of introductions into weak verbs so that you know that they exist and what they are, as opposed to strong verbs that we've looked at in the rest of the previous lessons.